Iraqi parliament speaker starts 3-day visit to Kuwait. July 28, 2019. Walter by Mohammed Ibrahim. July 27, 2019, 3:47 p.m. Speaker of the Kuwaiti National Assembly Marzouk Ali Al-Ghanim receives his Iraqi counterpart Mohammed Al-Halbousi. Kuwait, IraqiNews.com. Speaker of the Iraqi Parliament Mohammed Al-Halbousi arrived in Kuwait on Saturday, starting a 3-day official visit to the country. He was received upon arrival by National Assembly Speaker Marzouk Ali Al-Ghanim and legislators, Kuwaiti news agency, Kuna, reported. The Iraqi officials and legislators will discuss with their Kuwaiti counterparts means of investing the $30 billion fund, pledged at the previously held Kuwait Conference for Aiding Iraq, Iraqi Parliament spokesperson, Hamed Shaker, told Kuna on Thursday. The visit comes within the framework of mutual efforts to cement and expand economic and commercial relations, with plans to carve out a free trade zone and facilitate cross-border commodities transport and businesses. Officials from the two countries, during a landmark visit by Kuwaiti Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Sabah to Iraq on June 19, held consultations on best avenues for boosting the relations and cooperation in the economic and business sectors. IraqiNews.com. Official statement. Emir of Kuwait orders the construction of residential cities in 4 districts and areas of Salayald in July 28, 2019. Walter. Policy July 28, 2019, 1334-1205. Baghdad today. Salayald in. The Emir of Kuwait, Sabah Al Ahmed Al Sabah, ordered, Sunday, July 28, 2019, to build residential cities in 4 districts and districts of Salayald province. The Emir of Kuwait ordered the implementation of the request by the governor of Salayald Amar al-Jabr to build a residential city in the district of Baiji to destroy their homes, and there will be other cities in Aziz Balad and Sulayman Bay. The Salahuddin Provincial Council said in a brief statement received by Baghdad Today and Yathrib. This comes in conjunction with the meeting of the Emir of Kuwait, an Iraqi delegation of deputies and governors. The Emir of Kuwait, along with head of the delegation, Parliament Speaker Mohammed Halbousi, discussed on Sunday ways to invest funds allocated for the reconstruction of Iraq at the Kuwait International Donors Conference. We came to the state of Kuwait with the executive officials of the government to discuss the files related to the reconstruction projects of Iraq from the grants that were allocated at the Kuwait International Conference, especially in the field of health and education and all governorates, said Halbousi, forming joint committees to study them and start implementing them. According to the statement of the Office of Halbousi, the Secretary General of the Council of Ministers and Governors made a presentation of the projects needed by the provinces, including with regard to services and infrastructure, especially cities liberated from the organization of a supporter. For his part, Kuwait's Emir Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jabr Al Sabah said during the meeting, which was attended by Crown Prince Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jabr Al Sabah, "We are always ready to help Iraq and stand with it. Kuwait will do its utmost to fulfill its commitments at the Kuwait International Donor Conference, to fulfill its obligations, and wish the Iraqi government and people more stability and progress." He is accompanied by a delegation comprising a number of Iraqi governors, including the governor of Saladin. Finance, changing our way from traditional budget to projects and prompt performance. July 28, 2019. Walter Economy, 2:27. July 28, 2019. Baghdad. The Prime Minister for Economic Affairs and Finance Minister Fuad Hussein announced on Sunday the change of the way the Ministry of Finance from the traditional budget to budget projects and performance directed. "It is a pleasure to be with you in the workshop," Hussein said during his participation in the program budget workshop organized by the U.S. Agency for International Development in cooperation with the United Nations Development Program in Iraq and the advisors of the Prime Minister. "This is an important task which comes, as I see it, as a step to strengthen the approach we started in Iraq several months ago in coordination with the Iraqi ministries and governorates." He pointed out that the traditional budget has been adopted, not directed by each strategic, designed to focus on reducing costs more than achieving tangible results, and many of the limitations and shortcomings which I am sure you fully aware of them. We have changed our approach from the traditional budget to the balanced projects and performance directive will not be easy, and this approach is new to us. And so far we do not have the individual and institutional capabilities necessary to formulate a real budget projects and performance contribute to the guidance of our resources to the real need for them with a clear vision on how to translate the budgeted costs into concrete results. Corruption removal. Deputies reveal measures to lift the immunity of more than 30 deputies. July 28, 2019. Walter. Baghdad. The Parliamentary Legal Committee revealed on Sunday efforts to lift the immunity of 30 deputies required to the judiciary on various charges, calling on Prime Minister Adel Abdul Mahdi to arrest the ministers wanted for the judiciary because they do not enjoy diplomatic immunity. The parliament is continuing to lift the immunity of deputies required for the judiciary as a legal and constitutional procedure, and the deputy must defend himself before the judiciary, said Deputy Chairman of the Legal Committee Mohammed Al-Ghazi. For ministers who are accused of corruption, those who have been told by the Prime Minister must be referred to the judiciary before the statement, because they do not enjoy immunity, whether they are former or current. So the legal procedures are easy to be established against them. He called on the Prime Minister as head of the Anti-Corruption Authority to proceed with the investigation procedures and refer the wanted parties to the concerned parties as they are considering these matters until proven guilty or not. He added that the Supreme Judicial Council earlier in the House of Representatives, with the presence of personalities, have become members of Parliament and previously held executive positions in previous governments, have been charged with some charges of corruption in the House of Representatives to lift immunity from them, as well as current deputies, that the number of more than 30 deputies ranging between charges of libel and defamation and other charges of corruption. Association of Banks organizes a course Treasury Management. July 28, 2019. Walter. Site of the session. Economy News. Banks. Economy News Baghdad. On Sunday, the Association of Iraqi Private Banks organized a course on Treasury Management with the participation of 38 trainees. In cooperation with the Central Bank of Iraq, Al-Dua established the Center for Banking Studies and a group of joint efforts. The 5-day course is aimed at Treasury and Investment Department staff and risk management and operations staff. Post-RI, reconstruction waiting to start. The Emir of Kuwait for Al-Bausi. We will do our utmost to fulfill our commitments at the donor conference. July 28, 2019. Walter. Release date. July 28, 2019. 14:11. 78 times read. Baghdad. Al-Furat News. Speaker of the House of Representatives Mohammed al-Bausi and his accompanying delegation met on Sunday with the Emir of Kuwait Sabah al-Ahmad al-Jaber al-Sabah to discuss ways to invest funds allocated for the reconstruction of Iraq at the Kuwait International Donor Conference. A statement from the Office of the President of the House of Representatives received the agency, Euphrates News, copy of it, at the outset of the meeting. Al-Bausi conveyed the greetings of the President of the Republic and the ministers and representatives of the people to the state of Kuwait and the people, expressing Iraq's keenness to strengthen relations between the two brotherly neighbors in all fields. The Speaker of the House of Representatives valued the positions of Kuwait and the Prince in support of Iraq at the International Conference of Donors, stressing the need to activate reconstruction projects that support the Iraqi government to meet the needs of the citizen. He added, "We came to Kuwait with the executive officials in the government to discuss the files related to the reconstruction projects of Iraq from the grants that were allocated at the Kuwait International Conference, especially in the field of health and education in all provinces, calling for the formation of joint committees to study and start implementation." The Secretary-General of the Council of Ministers and Governors presented the projects needed by the provinces, including with regard to services and infrastructure, especially the cities liberated from the organization calling for the terrorist. For his part, Kuwait's Emir Sabah al-Ahmad al-Jaber al-Sabah said during the meeting attended by Crown Prince Nawaf al-Ahmad al-Jaber al-Sabah, "We are always ready to help Iraq and stand with it. Kuwait will do its utmost to fulfill its commitments at the Kuwait International Donor Conference, and wishes the Iraqi government and people more stability and progress."